today I'm going to go over with you the EXP rally slides. Okay. I'm also going to go over a lot of the resources that you guys might not know about so that you guys are equipped to go out there and talk to buyers with confidence, sellers with confidence, explain what's going on in the market, and then just know about all of our tools. Dee Dee Roca, she's going to come on. I want to share with you something that she said last night, which was so good. She said, this quote is, "We're not here for a short time, we're here for a great time." So last night I was like, I love that. So let's have fun, right? Part of having fun is showing up to these meetings, making sure that you guys are informing yourself. Every Wednesday, if you're visiting, we have these meetings, okay? After this meeting, we have our 6-week Kickstart, and next week starts the other series. So if you come in and you need a push and you need like a 6-week Kickstart, you can jump into any of these classes. You just have to register. Okay. So don't feel like you have to start at week 1 or week, or wait for week 1. Just hop in when you can because they are recurring. We have some new agents. We got Angelina Trujillo. Angelina's in Pueblo, Colorado. She is only a couple weeks in and she already has a house under contract. She's about to close. Okay. We have John Cardenas. Hi, Leslie. Hi, Michelle. And Lauren's also new as well. So, and Perry, is Perry visiting or? Let's see. And then we have Rita. Okay, you guys. All right, let's jump into it. Okay. Chris is my business partner, by the way. Chris Nolan is in Florida. So if anyone knows anybody moving to Florida or you guys want to get duly licensed in Florida, a lot of people are. Chris has a team over there. He's an incredible leader. We've been working together, I don't know, maybe like 4 years. So he is one of the leaders here at Grow as well. So if you guys have any referrals to send over to Florida, and if you guys can all put in the cities of where you're from below, okay, and put your names and why you guys should all follow each other, okay, help each other grow, okay, so put those in the chat. Okay, so I am going to share my screen here, okay. Here we go. Can you guys see my screen? All right, so EXP regional rallies. Can you guys, if you want access to all the links, you guys can scan this code, okay? So there's going to be lots of different links that you can scan that code there, right? So first and foremost, for the good stuff, the great stuff, 2003 was a year of bold moves. EXP was named #1 by Real Trends in 5 categories, 355,052 transactional sites, okay? That means buyers and sellers. So in the past, people are wondering, like, is EXP a recruiting company? They're like a, MLM model. Right here shows no, we are a production company, okay? We are #1 in transactions. We are 5-year top movers for size and volume. We're #1 in Real Trends for the best brokerages. Number 350 on the Deloitte Technology Fast 500 with a 369% revenue growth over a 3-year period, okay? We're number 20 on Glassdoor's 100 best workplaces listed for large company categories, 6 years in a row, okay? We're number 7 on Glassdoor's 50 best to work in Canada, up from number 15 last year. 48 agents and teams were named 2023 Real Trends, plus Tom Ferry's the 1,000 list, okay? 14 agents and 4 teams made the ARIA A list, 2023 top producers, 89 wins across 7 categories on the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. So if you guys speak Spanish or you know people coming into the business that speak Spanish, we have the absolute best tools, best technology. We're in Mexico. We have tons of different groups. It is an incredible way to make a name for yourself and to have all the resources already prepared for you, okay? So if you know someone, let me know and I can help you with that, okay? We're the #1 growth leader across agent count, volume, and transactions at Real Trends. T3 power broker. So number one, right? So you're wondering why you might be seeing people that said no to EXP in the past, like, yeah, EXP is not for me, or I'm not sure. You're just seeing people moving super fast to EXP. Okay. And this is why. All right. So here is the myEXP app in beta. Okay. What I love about this is the EXP app that tells you what your stats are. Okay. You have 3 units, what's your GCI, what's your revenue share, what's your volume. Okay. So if you want this, you can get there, there's the QR code at the top. That's where you can get the link to that. You should also be paying attention to your workplace. I'm going to show you guys workplace and where you can find a lot of these resources. Okay. So we also have a radio show, Real Estate on Air. I've been listening to more like podcasts and radios lately, or radio shows lately. Nolly Williams, he's like a listing king. And then Monica Weekly, she is a marketing guru. Ricky Caruth, he's a legend. I don't know John Holly Kitchen, she's a legend as well. So make sure you tune in there. Okay. Then we have the EXP bookstore. So if you're looking for everybody says, what are some books that you recommend? Okay. Some of the books that I highly recommend is The 12-Week Year, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and of course, Chris Heller's book, Dominant Thoughts. The Dominant Thoughts book, I thought I had it here actually, is really, oh, here it is. This is it. So it's actually really small, but in the back, it's totally summarized. Okay. So it's nice. And it talks about showing up, discipline. The Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, the one that I like is this one. It's actually a kind of like a workbook, and it has tabs and stuff. Okay. It's a Keller Williams book, and I still love it. Okay. So unlock your opportunities with EXP exclusives. Okay. EXP exclusive is also considered, you guys might have heard Zenlist. Zenlist is our exclusive MLS. Okay. So EXP exclusives, so much more to see with EXP exclusives. We're providing as many ways as possible to create inventory and sell homes for our agents and our clients. EXP agents can now leverage being part of the largest real estate brokerage to internally market their non-MLS listings. Okay. This was a couple weeks ago, so I'm sure that the stats have changed, but so far there's 1,552 exclusives entered to date. Average list price is $862,136. 55 exclusives marked closed to date. Average price $643, average close price $624. Okay.
And if I could just jump in on that, Tanya, this is actually a pretty cool tool because we're using this to list properties that maybe the people are not quite as excited to get it onto the MLS and have people traipsing through the house. So we've actually just acquired in the past, I think, 2 weeks, 2 new listings that went into this first as an intercompany only listing. So it did not go out on the Zillows and Trulias and all the crazy stuff. However, once it was listed for a couple weeks, then it got transferred into the regular MLS once they realized that there was some more traction to be had. So that was a great way. And I have another one which will make a number 3 that is about to get signed, I think Friday. So it's definitely a tool. If you leverage it, all these tools, they work. So I say leverage the tools and get out there and run.
Love it. And thank you for sharing that. It is, if you guys want more information, the link is here, and you can actually go on to, I'll show you some of the resources where you can really hear them with the whole discussion. There's lots of Q&As, like what are the restrictions and all that. But the good news is when you are with a company like us that has 90,000 agents, guess what? We're big enough to create our own MLS, right? That was what people have been saying is anybody going to create their own MLS? We're like, we're already ahead of that. Like, so here we are, right? So if you guys are thinking about a change or a move, or you've lost your mojo, we all do, right? We all lose our mojo. We all have our moments where we're like, oh, well, this brokerage isn't working for me, or this isn't working for me. Maybe I'll go somewhere else. I would really reconsider that, because you have to be with a company that is on the cutting edge. Essentially, I see EXP as a tech company with a real estate emphasis. Okay, we are a tech company with a real estate emphasis. And if you want to be in this business in 5 years, stick with us, because I'll tell you what, there are so many brokerages and brokers that still have not brought up what's happening with the NAR lawsuit. Okay, so take your listings to the next level. I'll show you this. This is a listing presentation kit. Empowers agents to skillfully present a property's comprehensive marketing strategy. And there's an active listing kit. Okay, there's a fee for these things, but look how awesome you get to be when you show up with this, right? You literally, if you get a listing, you pay for this. Now you can post it on social media and just be like, you know what? Guess what? I got a new listing. Check this out, and like show them the resources, right? The thing is when I was selling, which I got in the business 22 years ago, we had to pay someone every time we needed a flyer made, every time we needed a farm, like all these things we had to pay for. Like these things are free at your fingertips. And I'm going to show you guys that. Okay. So EXP Miami. So who's going? Anybody going to EXP Con? Okay, awesome. Chris, we need to talk about a room block. If you're considering EXP Miami, you can, I think, sign up now and put a deposit down, and you don't have to pay it until, I don't know, maybe September 1st or something like that. But this is where the magic happens. If you are going to pick something, when you go to EXP Con, you can get several certifications in one day as well. Okay. So a lot of us are going, and we're going to share rooms, get Airbnbs if we have to. I'll bring my air mattress, right? We don't even care. So it's all about let's just get there and let's learn together. Okay. And there's EXP Toronto, EXP Lisbon. Okay. If you're wanting to go into luxury, EXP 2024 Regional Rally offers $500 off individual EXP luxury memberships and complimentary online luxury certifications. Okay. So if you, that's where you want to dabble, then there are, ask me, right? There are parameters to get into luxury. You have to have so much production. But if that's where you want to go, then you know what? Think big, put it on your dream board. Okay. I want to go into luxury here. So you get to hear it first. Agent development, elevating our offering. Okay. So we also have the foundation. The pinnacle of innovation in real estate is EXP University. I'll show you kind of where that is. All right. Then we have the next level mastery. Next level mastery is we have training from mastery level agents that are leaders in this company that have now offered next level mastery. Okay. And this is them. This is the Elevate coaching. So Carrie is a chat GPT crazy AI guru. Okay. Levi Lassick, he is all about YouTube. Okay. Go, she is also major social media. Nolly Williams is a listing king. Dan Beer is has one of the number one, he's in the top probably 2% of EXP in San Diego. And I don't know Sherry, so I do have to look her up. But you guys take a little, take a photo of this and follow all of these people, right? Because these people are producing at a massive level. They have massive downlines, and they are professional marketers. You know what I mean? We don't need to reinvent the wheel. If you see something that they did, then figure it out, share it, copy it. EXP is such a collaborative company. And if you go, hey, do you mind if I share this? Every single person at EXP is like, hey, share it. You know what? Actually, you can share that, and you can put your name on it, and you can put your branding on it. And I'm going to show you some examples of that. Okay. So the most agent eccentric brokerage on the planet. Okay. So we have our agent advisory council. We have all of this stuff. Here's the other thing. Our our agent support desk is now open 24/7. Okay. So if you need any help, like take a photo of this and put it in your phone in EXP, resources or photos. but these people are going to help you with, oh my God, I can't get into, KV Core. I need to get with an accounting. Like what's the email I need to send to my support team? Okay. So we'll talk about the settlement in a minute, but I want to talk about some fun stuff first. Okay. So some of the fun stuff is right here. Hold on. Can you guys see me going through here? Perfect. Okay. So can you guys see my Canva right now? Can you see my Canva?
Yep, we can see it.
Perfect. Okay. So if you're visiting or if you're new or if you're watching this recording, one of the things that's really important is you have to prepare to succeed. Okay. What that means is you have to have the resources and the tools to succeed. And what we do here at Grow, the Grow Network, the Global Realty Org Network, what we do here is we create a lot of stuff for you and we make it easy for you. Okay. So right now, especially with the NAR lawsuit, everyone, is trying to figure out, how do I show value? So right here, this is a seller's roadmap and this is a buyer's roadmap. I have sent every single one of you at EXP this and the links, okay? And all you have to do when you open it up, you just put your face in there and all your information. Why are these valuable for you right now? One, they're valuable when you show up, you only have one chance to make a first impression. And I can't tell you how many agents do not have a listing presentation. They're like, oh, I just give referrals. Like, I'm good. I don't need one. Like, I just talked to somebody the other day and I was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Yeah, they don't even think they need one now. You need a listing presentation, okay? The other thing is you need information and resources to show your buyer, which I'm going to show you right now. What I love about these resources, okay, is one, when you're sitting at the table with them and you're having your buyer or seller consultation, you literally, here's the thing, there's a book called The 4 Laws of Agreement, and it's called Never Assume, okay? Never assume a seller knows the seller roadmap, okay? Never assume the buyer knows the buyer roadmap. The way to control your clients and to have a professional interaction is you have to be the consultant, okay? Hey, you might have sold a house before, but do you mind if I just kind of go over these really quickly, like the steps? Or, you know what, here's what's going to happen when if you buy a house with me, right? You already signed the agreement. First we're going to go over, you've already picked me your real estate agent. And then we need to get you pre-approved. Then we're going to search for homes. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to make an offer. And when we make an offer, this is what that looks like, right? When we make an offer in this market, you have to be prepared to have, your deposit that day. When you make an offer, you have to be prepared to close within 30 to 45 days, whatever that is, right? And then that's where you get to also explain what's happening with the market, right? Do you want this house? And if you want this house, you have to be prepared to go in with a strong offer. Okay. And then you talk about the negotiations and then the escrow and then the final details and then the closing. This helps you explain the process, because most people, they're just like, they go into these processes and they don't even know. The other thing I'm going to encourage you to do, these are videos, right? When you're like, oh, how do I show my value? Do a video on this. Hey guys, I just want to do a video today on the buyer's roadmap. There are really, 8 essential steps to being a buyer, right? You can go through this. Okay. So this is just one resource for you. Okay. So I'm going to go back. Okay. So I'm going to go into these. So then we have the home buyer handbook. Okay. We've also created listing flyer. Look at these. Brian finished these last night, right? If you want flyers for your listings, we have EXP has them too, and I'm going to show you where those are, but we're constantly creating things for you to help up level. Okay. The other thing I wanted to show you here is if you do not have a listing presentation, Tracy Franz shared these with us. Chris Nolan has an incredible one that I think Brian, by the way, Brian just changed with some of the Grow logos, but these are the ones that I have. But I want to show you this, right? This is, you go in, you do a listing presentation, you have the contents, you have your about me, You have your determining factors. You got your before you list, you got your listing strategy, you got your formula, right? This right here is what you need to go in to your homes, this or whatever listing packet you use. We're gonna also, Chris, so we're gonna showcase this one and Chris's because they're two different, right? One's a little bit more masculine. Tracy's is like girly and foo-foo, okay? And then yours is super masculine, right? So the thing is what I like to do is I like to provide a couple different things. So then you just go, you know what? I'm gonna pick one or the other, let's go, okay? So I'm also going to show you this handbook. So this is really important because you should be having a buyer handbook these days, and there's several, but Tracy Franz built this for us. Meet your agent. What are my clients saying about me? Okay. Meet with an agent. Okay. These are testimonials, short sales, foreclosures, the pre-approval process, common mortgages. Sorry, it's going super fast. It's like, dang, it's like super fast. Okay. So, let me actually go into present mode really quick here. Let's see if I can go into this mode. Yeah. Okay. So basically, we have all of these templates, and all you have to do is change them, make them your own, right? The thing is when you're a new real estate agent, you're like, what do I say? I don't even know what to say. I have no confidence. Right here, closing costs. What are closing costs, right? And the thing is and then there's tours, then you make an offer and you go under contract, okay? Here's the thing. The best presentation is the one that you're going to use. I'm going to tell you right now, keep it simple, okay? Keep it simple. When you're in these consultations, try to keep it to an hour. Chris, what do you have to add to all this?
Yeah, I mean, 100%, you have to find one or customize it to your personal, personality. Like Tanya said, mine is a little bit more on the masculine side. It's all good, but you have to, find one that works. And I highly, highly, highly recommend that you read it before you present it to your client. So nothing like seeing an agent get surprised by what's on the next page. Okay.
Exactly.
So that always cracks me up. But these materials are provided for you no matter whether you're here, with us or you're, in another brokerage someplace. You should have items like this. Bottom line is know what your value is and how to present it. All right. When I go into it, I'm coming from the perspective of a team leader. I'm also laying down the expectation that it will be one of my agents showing the houses, not me, right? Because if you're waiting on me, my schedule's kind of tight, right? But if I'm going up against somebody that has maybe less of a busy schedule, your power is the fact that you're going to be there for every showing, so on and so forth. So, identify where you're at. But all of us are here because we know we need something bigger. So, know what your strengths are and how you can leverage that to best serve your clients.
Absolutely. And so this one, we just, customize it to him, right? So all you got to do is go in and take the colors and then just customize it to yourself. Okay. So this right here, these are EXP resources, right? That they have created for us so that we can, go out there and represent ourselves with this whole lawsuit, right? Nobody serves more buyers and sellers than we do. We're the #1 independent brokerage. Okay. So you could just put your, face in there. All right. So, all right. So now I'm going to show you the couple things. Like, you guys probably already know about this, but I'm going to encourage you right now, especially with the lawsuit, that you attend your broker meetings. Okay. If you don't attend your broker meetings, you guys could actually go into Workplace, okay, and ask where they are stored. Okay. So where they record the meetings. And I would really think about or figure out how to watch those every single week. So I'm going to show you, this is the Colorado State group right now. And if I go into files, okay, I just learned this the other day, actually. If I go into files, Colorado has a video library. Okay. And in the video library, it has all the recordings of every single meeting. Okay. They're going to be going over what their state's requirements are for this new lawsuit. So, for example, you're going to see a form that I'm going to show you. Everybody has the form except for us. Okay. So, one of your homework pieces is to go into your state group and go into files and look through these files and see what you need and save them. Okay. The other homework is for you guys to attend your broker meetings, okay? And if you want to know where the broker meetings are, you can just, you could just go into the broker meetings here, or you can go into the calendar, okay? So I'm going to go into right here, right here. So the broker meetings are on the right here, okay? So if you go into the EXP calendar. All right. So let's see. So I showed that. We did that. Okay. So EXP Enterprise. Okay. So if you're in EXP Enterprise and you guys go down to the marketing center here, you're going to wonder, like, where do I get all these new buyer tools? Okay. So there's the toolkits, there's the flyers, right? There's all of these things. There's social media posts, postcards, brochures, single property websites, door hangers, presentations. Then I'm going to go into, so we have the Spanish material. Where's that buyer? They have the toolkits for the buyers. Oh, I was there earlier today. Let's go back there. So I think actually the toolkits, yep, the buyer representation toolkit, here it is. Okay, so here's a toolkit here. You're going to say explore now, okay? This right here is the buyer representation toolkit. So I'm going to encourage you guys to go in here because the buyer training's in here. The seller resources are in here. Social media shareables, previous posts, okay? This is the training, welcome to winning buyers, unpack the impact on the sellers, using the listing presentation, the overview, and then there's the library. Okay, so these are all brand new, by the way. Ready to make an offer today? What's the best time of year? What is the best time of year to buy a home? You know, certain seasons bring more choices. So these are helping you guys. Like Angelina, you were asking yesterday, like, what should I post on social media? EXP is constantly creating these for you guys. Okay. So this is fun. Embark on your home journey. Discover how you can align your goals with market trends, right? Swipe right to get started. And we give you captions. So you can access our full library of social media templates. Okay. And then here is the updated buyer presentation. So this buyer presentation is different than the one that I showed you that Tracy had. Okay. If you're with EXP, I'll also send this to you. This is a home buyer toolkit. And then Chris, I should have brought yours up. Do you have your buyer kit? Can you show it?
Relatively quick.
So I'll send this to you guys too. I felt like this had a lot of really cool information. Financial readiness, right? Start saving. Here's what we're going to do. Talk to a lender. Your mortgage application. Chris is actually really good too. But somebody shared this yesterday. Home buyer education. You know, you guys have to have these marketing tools because you, first of all, need to know how to explain all this. So I'm going to stop my share, Chris, so you can share yours.
Yep.
Is this helpful for you guys, seeing all this stuff? Knowing where it's at? Okay, and knowing that EXP has your back, we have your back, we're constantly creating things.
All right. I'll go ahead and share my screen.
Hi, Aaliyah. Thank you for visiting. Aaliyah, can you tell us where you're from and who invited you? Hi, Rita.
So like Tanya said, you know, mine is a little bit more, you know, utility, masculine, however you want to look at it. But it gets to the point. The biggest thing with this, right? This screen here is the one I use the most. It's because it's the actual flow chart of what's about to happen, and it shows all the different steps of what's going on and how much actually falls back on you, the realtor. So it helps to show your you know, your value, but also too, it lets your clients know what to expect. We talked about this on a class last night, that, you know, from the contract to close is the time when you either turn this into a transaction or a client for life. You know, you might muddle through it and get to settlement and call it a day. But if you keep up on this and you let your clients know and you keep that communication up and running, all of a sudden, by the time you get to settlement, you've built so much rapport with your people that they're going to keep on coming back and bring it, you know, bring clients and referrals into the future, because this here is what really provides the value. There's a lot of excitement when we're looking at houses, picking out the right house. Oh, I like this house. I like that kitchen. I don't like that backyard, whatever it is. But this is where people get nervous, because from the time you go into contract to the time of settlement, everything kind of calms down a little bit and they can't see what's going on in the background. So it is super important for you to make sure that you are really, you know, connecting with your clients, let them know what's going on. Like I've said to my team before, you know, I call my clients if they're active under contract, whether the buyer or seller or an active listing. I'm calling them every Friday just to give them an update. Hey, just so you know, here's where we're at. Here's where we're at. The average outbound phone call takes 4 minutes. An average inbound call takes 20+ minutes. All right. So get that out there, get it out of the system. It lets your clients know that you're still there. And it's really going to increase, you know, what you can do. So, and then the rest of it, you know, it just gives a lot of stuff about our team, you know, different places that we've worked, referrals. And then it just, this here, we print and bind. So it's something tangible to leave behind after the meeting. Make sense? So, and Tanya, you have a copy of this. You can share it with everybody if you like, or I can send it out.
Yeah, Brian is working on putting the grow colors on it.
Okay.
And so you guys, as you can see, we're giving you tools that like have been created over the last like 10, 20 years. So you guys don't have to spend time doing that. Okay. Perfect. So Martin would love a copy as well. Okay, good. So let's actually go into, one of the other things I wanted to share with you is this. Okay. This is super important for you guys to stay on top of, is right here. If you're not following EXP Realty on YouTube, you should be following them, because the videos that they have up right now are one day ago. There's Jordan Hill, but overcoming objections with Phil. They have buyer strategies, turn every relationship into a client, right? Leveraging your brand. But they also just recently had the right here, it's welcome to winning with buyers. This was a really good one. Okay. So you're going to see some things in here that are going to be directly from our leadership team. Okay. So this should be helpful for you guys. Okay. So you have our classes, you have these classes. You know, I'm not going to tell you to just go and get super crazy with it. But this one right here, unpacking the NAR settlement and buyer agency. Okay. You got to watch that one. Here's overcoming the objections. Okay. So, and then there's the NAR lawsuit again. Okay. So if you want to get questions to what I'm about to continue to show you here, all the questions are all the answers are there. Okay. So let's go back into this presentation. Okay. So the NAR settlement, I'm not going to go into this in detail. I'm just showing you where this is, and you guys are going to need to watch the video that corresponds with this, okay? So basically over 1 million members nationwide, not affiliated with home services. So basically they're just talking about who was involved in the lawsuit, okay? Updated practices moving forward. No offer of buyer broker compensation in the MLS, okay? Sellers may offer concessions via MLS, must be asked for via the contract. I'll talk about that. You may not offer services as free unless there are no financial compensations from any source. the buyer broker to negotiate the fee and services prior to showing a property. I'm going to show you our single party listing that EXP already created for you guys, okay? Compensation may not be considered open, whatever the seller is paying. No requirement of blanket, unconditional, unilateral offer of compensation to a buyer broker. Sellers may choose to offer concessions to cover the buyer side compensation, okay? A lot of this verbiage, even for me, I've been in the business a long time, is hard to understand. It's confusing. That's why you have to watch that corresponding video, okay?
Okay, if I could just jump in for a second.
Yep.
If you can go back to that slide there, Tanya. For everybody, most of us are getting worn out with this ridiculous thing. All right. For anybody that's not aware, or if you've heard of this, or if you have not heard of this, this has to do with the way this is marketed. All right. What I want to bring to your attention is the fact that we have companies like Zillow, like Redfin, like all these discount brokers. We have FSBOs, all these organizations and methods where people have tried to cut us out for years. Okay. It is what it is, right? Somebody is always going to come for your job because they think we get paid a lot and they don't understand what we do. It is imperative that you let people know what you do and why you're worth the money you're being paid. Now, the problem where this is the reason why this is coming up is because of in the MLS, the buyer broker is being paid from the selling broker. Okay. So that's where there's some concerns in that. However, it is in the seller's best interest to offer compensation to attract buyers that have buyer's agents. Okay. Most of the homes in America are sold with buyer's agents because I can tell you from personal experience. I bought my first home right when I was in my early 20s. I went unrepresented because I thought I was smarter than the system, and a $165,000 house left me homeless and $750,000 in debt within 4 months because of damages that I did not see coming. Okay. It was not fun. Most people are not savvy enough to navigate this on their own. You need to make sure you have, or your clients need to have a seasoned and an intelligent professional backing them. So I am not concerned about this. The conversation will change a little bit and it's fine, right? You negotiate this, the concessions will still be there. This is also figured into the price of the home. Okay.
Yep.
And already Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they've already discussed that this will not count towards the seller concession fees. It'll be a completely different thing. So for anybody that's nervous about it, please don't get nervous. And the one last thing I will say, all this stuff that they're talking about with, putting it in there and having this does not apply now. This is proposed for whatever comes out in August. And as long as if you're in an MLS that still has that compensation in there, you are covered. Don't worry about it as a buyer's agent. You are still covered. This is something that's coming. So don't stress about it too much.
Okay, I do want to stress something to you guys. If you're not in EXP World, get an EXP World. Okay, if you're writing an offer, try to write that offer within the within business hours to your brokers, and go in there and ask them if you have any questions. Right, they're there to help you write contracts and answer questions. Okay, I'm going to show you the broker agreement. So we have a single party EXP single party buyer compensation. That tailor today's agreement to the client you meet. It's really single party, right? One showing, one weekend, one zip code. And there's a lot of questions around that because I didn't know it was like one zip code. I thought it was per property. So you write in an offer asking for concessions for the buyer or to pay the buyer broker directly. There's some scripts down here for you guys, but I want to show that to you really quickly. It's right here. So this is the single party agreement. You guys should be reading it. Okay. Because basically this agreement is designed to allow a buyer or tenant to engage a qualified licensed professional for the purpose of viewing property. contract negotiation and advocacy services throughout the entire real estate offer and purchase or rental process for the property described below. Like Chris said, we don't have to use these now. California, we always used buyer broker agreements. You just need to start educating yourself. Okay. You're going to need to use these at open houses as well. So we'll talk about that. And then it says the length of the agreement, right? The fees. And with the fees, by the way, you have to be really careful with the fees because you cannot get paid $1 more than you're asking for. So let's just say, you know, the price increases or, you know, there's some sort of special circumstance where there's more commission to be had. You can't get paid any more than you put in this agreement. Okay. So I'm not going to go into this because there's like a whole video on this, but it's really important that you know these resources. Okay. So buyer strategy session, ask seller for concessions to contribute to the buyer loan costs, repairs, buyer broker compensation, pulling the CMA, look at the difference between sales prices and concessions. So over here, actually, I'm going to read this to you. I thought this was really interesting. When you're working with buyers, there was a statistic, right? You're wondering like, gosh, if I ask for concessions, is my offer going to get rejected? There was a stat that said 50% of transactions these days have concessions attached to them. Okay. I'm surprised by that. But overall, 50% of transactions have concessions attached, like, you know, seller closing costs. Chris, I'm going to have you explain concessions a little bit better.
Okay. Well, concession is anything that the seller is going to provide at to ease the buyer's initial commitment to the house, right? So, for example, you'll hear a seller concession depending on the state. I'm licensed in Maryland and Florida, so it's written slightly different. But here, if we're writing an addendum, it would read something along the lines of buyer and seller agree that the seller will contribute up to 3% of the sales price towards buyers' prepaids and closing costs.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, one of the things, and this is why this lawsuit kind of got people jumbled up, because there are, you know, restrictions on certain things, but it's not going to count towards this because the payment will come from the broker. But those seller concessions can cover, you know, your closing costs, your, you know, the transfer taxes, you know, all those types of components. So what you want to do is make sure that when you're negotiating these things, you're checking with the lender if you don't know on what those restrictions are. Some of them, like a conventional loan, have restrictions that you can't ask for more than 3%. So if I ask for normal closing costs of around, you know, most of them are going to be 4.5%. If I ask for 4.5%, or, you know, it's going to be worded as up to 4.5%, and I'm in a conventional loan, I'm leaving money on the table for my clients. So make sure you check. If you're not sure, check with your, you know, your broker, your team leader, you know, whatever it is, whoever, you know, you're working with, and they'll be able to explain to you what you are actually allowed to get. Plus, I would actually ask my lender, hey, listen, where would this best be served? Right? Because a lot of times I may just ask for a reduction in price. It's going to depend on where my client is and how they're set up as far as cash on hand.
Yeah, so right here, like Chris has had his script, but this is also verbiage that you can use and consider. But right here, many MLSs are in development of a concession field. Okay, so you have to have that up front. And again, going back to the video that's on YouTube, they explain this in detail. Okay, so employ strategies to assist your sellers and what the market supports. Selling, are you selling for time or are you selling for price? Okay, you have to know what their motivation is. Don't go in and just assume that the sellers want top dollar. Some sellers just want the easiest way to close. They're like, you know what? I want to sell it competitively, but I need to be in Maryland at my new job, my kids in their new school. You know, by June, right? So you have to be asking them what their motivation is. What's more important to you? Getting this closed sooner so you can get to Maryland in the school, or top dollar, right? So you need to understand what their motivation is. Okay. Open house and sign calls. We'll be talking about this more, but if you are doing an open house and you are you're not representing the seller, you actually are going to need to have this single party showing for everybody that you work with at open houses. Okay. That's why you want to get super familiar with this. Okay. So listing agents do not need to have assigned buyer broker compensation if they are not going to represent the buyer. Open houses, you represent the seller. You may want a disclosure posted on who you represent. Sign calls, you do not have to offer representation to the buyer. Best practice is tell the buyer who you represent up front. Ask them if they want representation and what that means. Okay. So you're going to get a lot of updates and industry changes, right? You're going to get updates from us. You're going to get updates from your MLS, okay, and forms. You're going to get updates from your broker. So you need to, like I said earlier, be in the broker meetings or listen to them, okay? So what they're also doing is they're looking for an EXP writer to the listing agreement for separate of compensation for the seller. Okay. EXP only one-page buyer broker agreement is in SkySlope. This is the contract that the form I just showed you. Continued updates in the marketing center are going to be there. So what I would do is constantly go in there and see what kind of buyer tools are in there. Okay. And then seller representations and all that. Okay. So right here, if you want to be part of EXP exclusives, your standard EXP exclusive account is available to you for free. So this is, in other words, they call it Zenlist. This is our local MLS. Okay. And then here's all your downloads here. All right. So Chris, do you want to add anything else? I'm going to stop share because I want to make sure that I showed you guys everything.
Bottom line is, if you stay in this business for more than 6 months, you're going to see changes, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see all sorts of things change. For those of you that were here more than a couple of years, you've already seen some pretty big changes. We went from people racing to the front of the line, offering, tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes more, over list price, waiving inspections, all sorts of stuff, just to get a house, not even the house. Now we're in a position where, like Tanya said, 50% of properties are getting concessions, right? Knowing the contract, knowing your local laws, knowing what the seller wants, right? When you're representing the buyer and vice versa, is going to help you to negotiate the best possible contract for everybody. And a good negotiation leaves everybody walking away feeling that they won something. Okay. So, you want to take this into account, because there are people out there that have this, mentality that I just need to beat the crap out of the other guy. And that's not good for longevity in this business. Everybody has to feel, that they've won. We just went up on an offer not too long ago with an FHA offer. We beat out 3. We were in multiple offers, and this is just less than a month ago, about a month ago. We beat out 3 cash offers with an FHA offer because of terms, right? I asked the agent, what the seller was looking for. We adjusted the terms to match that seller's best needs. And then we got the contract, and they just settled on it. So this is huge to really understand what everybody is looking for out of this. You got to know the buyer, check the seller, and most listing agents will tell you exactly what they need. My seller would like to stay, for an extra 60 days because they're waiting for their teeth to be done, right? We just had that one, right? We had a seller getting custom teeth. She needed, actually, it was like 3 months. Okay, we couldn't get it ready until then. So it sounds crazy, but these are the things that are happening. So ask, have a conversation. Everybody on my team knows I'm big into the interrogatories, the who, what, when, where, why, and how, right? those open-ended questions that are going to get the people talking. Right?
Yeah.
Just ask,
So,
what do you need? You know, what are you looking for?
yeah. And when you're going in to these buyer consultations, we just showed the presentations. You all have the scripts to go in and ask them, you know, what's your, one of the questions that's not on there I love is, you know, on a scale from 1 to 10, how motivated are you to buy? You know, tell me more about that. If you couldn't buy, and if you didn't find a house, or your offer didn't get accepted on this house, then what? Okay. Do you have to renew your lease? You know, what does that look like? For example, Angelina and I just had a conversation. She had a buyer that was considering backing out, and they had a lease, right? They thought that they were going to renew their lease. And so questions to ask is, you know, I understand this might not be the home for you. You did like it, obviously put an offer in it, but let's talk about that, right? If you were to renew your lease, what would that look like? If that's $2,500 a month, you know, times 12, right? That's like 24, 30, what, $36,000 or something like that. Are you willing to put that towards, you know, a rent? Or choice B is you go in this house and in a year, you could have $36,000 in equity. You know, what's important to you right now? And you have to know what's important to them.